the Mint Door Podcast with Dr. Karen Tyndall and Dr. Laura Schwint. Are you a high achiever feeling the burnout blues? Well, the Mint Door Podcast is your oasis. But before we introduce you to today's phenomenal guest, we're extending an invitation to something extraordinary. We're mixing up the perfect antidote to burnout with our Mint Julep newsletter, a weekly dose of inspiration delivered straight to your inbox.
Each edition of the Mint Julep is more than just words on a page. It delivers connection, brimming with inspiration, positivity, and a dash of fun. Think of it as your virtual happy hour with a supportive community of high achievers who will help you unwind, recharge, and rediscover the joy in every day.
So subscribe to the Mint Julep and let's clink glasses or coffee mugs to live a more inspired, joyful life, 1 week at a time.
And if you're more of a visual learner, we've also got you covered because all of our podcasts plus bite-sized coaching tips are on our YouTube channel that you can find at youtube.com/@themintdoor. There you can subscribe for happiness on the go.
And so now for the main event. Today we're welcoming Rita Zamora to the podcast. Rita is the author of the book, Get Found, Get Liked, Get Patience, Making the Most of Social Media. She is also the founder of Connect 90, a customizable social media program helping dentists with content ideas and tools to save time and get better results. Rita served as a contributing faculty member on the topic of marketing for the American Dental Association Center for Success certificate program.
Now, Rita's a former treatment coordinator and she graduated magna cum laude from the University of Colorado with a bachelor's degree in business and marketing. She has over 20 years of experience in the business of dentistry. So let's get ready to go behind the mask with Rita Zamora.
Well, hello, everyone. For the Mint Door podcast listeners, we are happy to have you here today and excited to welcome Rita Zamora to the podcast. Rita, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for the invite.
We're super excited to get into this conversation and can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, so this is our Behind the Mask podcast, and people that have listened before know that we have a few kind of set questions that we can sort of get deeper with people and really get to what makes them who they are. So Rita, could you tell us maybe what insecurities that you have hidden behind your professional mask in your lifetime?
Oh, I think just the insecurity of managing everything. For those of us that are out there that are business owners or practice owners and speakers and authors and, we have all of these different responsibilities and you want to do them well. But I think, I've worn a mask of everything's fine. It's all great, and meanwhile, it's just overwhelming, all of the different responsibilities and trying to do your best at everything, but knowing that it's maybe about to crumble or just overwhelmingly just too much.
Yeah. Tell us a bit more about those, maybe a particular experience or feelings that you've had when you're trying to do too much. What's a situation that would come to mind?
Gosh, I think the biggest one is paying attention to your emotions. And I remember distinctly one of the most challenging times I was, and I won't say which airport it was because I wouldn't want that meeting planner to feel bad. But I remember just feeling like I needed some space. I needed a break. And I was very fortunate and grateful to be getting a lot of speaking engagements back to back. But I was at the airport and I was on the phone with my husband and I just started crying because my flight had canceled and there was like a a pretty big possibility I wasn't going to make it to my speaking engagement. And it just was putting me in a place where I absolutely had no control. And you're trying to, make all of these things happen amongst this environment where things are not in your control. So I think paying attention to your emotions and letting that be a big guide, because I think that was really one of the first signs for me, just starting to have these situations where I was feeling like I couldn't handle it in a situation where it probably would normally be no big deal, and then later came the health issues as well. But I think paying attention to your emotions, whether it's sadness or anger or whatever that might be.
That's such a good piece of advice, because I do think, like you say, we put on this, everything's okay, I've got it all under control, and that we're not being honest outwardly, but we're not being honest inwardly either.
Yes, right. And I think whether you're a dentist and you're trying to show up, with a smile on your face for your team and your patients, and making it seem like, everything's going to be fine. I mean, there's that GIF, that image where that little animal is sitting in this room and there's fire all around. I would say that's how I was feeling during this really intense time in my career. And I think it doesn't matter whether you're a speaker or a dentist or an author or where you are in your dental career. It's feeling like you have to show up a certain way for people, and knowing that in the background you do have all these flames all around you, and you really feel like you can't share it because people are expecting this of you. And it's just sometimes either just not appropriate for you to feel like you can share, or in my case, I knew I had a lot of other engagements where people are expecting you to come and speak and smile and deliver an amazing program, and I always wanted to do that. And you've got these commitments, you can't just get out of them. So I think that was a very difficult situation a lot of people can probably relate to.
For sure. Yeah. How do you think that moment, that kind of reckoning with the flames, the insecurities, the what was going on in the background, how do you think that shaped who you are today?
I think I'm still on that journey of letting go of that identity, over trying to really, gosh, I had a good conversation with someone this week actually about perfectionism and overachieving, just trying to overachieve, which at the moment seemed like you're just setting a lot of goals for yourself. You're trying to make a certain amount of production, or you're wanting a certain number of speaking engagements, or back in the day, we used to say, you really, in order to be considered a really you've made it as a speaker, you want to speak at these top 5 meetings, so striving to do that. You want to have a book, you want to have a successful business. So I think overachieving was my way of trying to solve those insecurities that I had. And I think I'm still on that journey now of letting go of some of those identities, or separating myself from, some of that, in that what's most important first is that I take care of myself and, kind of put my own oxygen mask on first. And then I can look at, what are these other things that I want to do, instead of feeling like I have to do everything in order to be enough.
That's a really beautiful statement. Like, so often I feel like we think we have to do so much to deserve self-care.
Yes.
But you're saying it's the other way around.
It is. Yeah. And I felt really selfish initially to say that, I can't accept all of these commitments. I'm not going, people would ask you then too, well, what's the next book? I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, I just finished this second edition, or what other meetings are you going to be at? And, what's going on with the business? And realizing that, you know, you do have to take care of yourself and look at, what is it that I need? And in a way, it did feel kind of selfish to like want to just really focus on myself and sort of peel back those layers of this is not a part of my identity. I'm not a speaker and an author and a business owner. I mean, those are things that I do, but that's not who I am. And that is a continuing journey for me because it's been such a huge part of my life. And I think I just really took that on 110%.
That's beautiful.
It's a lot. And, we talk a lot about the load that everybody carries, and all of those things that you're talking about play perfectly into what we talk about. But how do you reduce that load that you carry on your shoulders? And through your own experiences, you've worked out what was the secret for your success as to how to reduce that load that you carry. What do you think is if you had to give somebody like one pearl of advice, like the one thing that helped you do that?
Oh my gosh. I think there were a lot of things that actually helped me to do that. The biggest one was getting some help, outside help, whether it's a coach, like the service that y'all provide, whether it's getting some therapy, seeking out mental health assistance from a therapist, whether it's, just taking the time off that you need. But I think the biggest thing was learning how to say no. And that was really hard for me because I would say, have always been someone who was a bit of an overachiever. And along with that, I think hand in hand comes, oh, you're a people pleaser then because you want to get all these things done. You want to accomplish all these things. So you want to make people happy and accommodate, whether it's the meeting planner or clients or whatever it is, your team. And so I think learning to just say no was one of the most important things that I learned to do. And realizing that, you can't do all of these things exceptionally well. Maybe some people do. I shouldn't say that you can't, but for me, doing all of these things exceptionally well was not working for me. And I was getting a lot of signs, like I said, whether it was my mental health or my physical health later, that this was not working for me. So
I love how you make that distinction of for you, because I think that so often we do look at other people doing it all and we think that we should be able to do it too. But I love how you brought it back to this is what is not working for me.
yes. Yeah. And I think I'm spending a lot of time right now just looking back at some of those key turning points in my life and using that as a guide. I've done quite a few things in my life where I wasn't really even sure what the next few steps were. Whether it was becoming a speaker, which kind of fell into my lap. I was working in the dental practice for 15 years with the same practice and growing that practice, and speaking kind of fell in my lap. And I went with it, it was sort of like a tumbleweed, and it was an amazing journey. I still enjoy speaking selectively, but I didn't know what was ahead of me. And there have been other things in my life, my whole career in social media. I mean, when Facebook pages came around, a tool like that had never been available for dental practices. So I couldn't have told you, oh, I'm going to have this social media agency and everything's, here's exactly what I have planned for that, because a lot of times some of the hosts for some of these meetings were like, well, what are you going to speak about next year? And I was like, social media. And they're like, well, I don't think it's going to be around, next year. So what is your next topic going to be? So I think just trusting that we sometimes don't know what the next steps are, and we kind of have to just take care of ourselves and, go with what feels right, but keep exploring different opportunities. That's sort of where I'm at right now.
Yeah. I mean, your journey and your career have no doubt been a big success to get you where you are today. And how has that helped you gather a community of, supportive mentors, friends within the world of dentistry? How's that come about for you?
Mm-hmm. I think the most important piece through everything, the biggest common thread has been my relationships with people in dentistry. That's how I started off, moving to Colorado, joining this dental team. I didn't have any family out here. I had, a few close friends, but that dental team sort of became my family. They became, the doctor was a mentor and someone that I looked up to, and he encouraged me to go back to school and get my bachelor's degree while I worked at the office. He adjusted my schedule for that. So there were a lot of close relationships in that practice. My best friend worked in that practice. She was a insurance coordinator, became the practice administrator from a group of 3 team members that we had up to over 20 team members when I left the practice, 1 doctor to 5 doctors. So we got to learn a lot about the business of dentistry, but the most important piece was really my relationships. And as I started doing marketing for that practice, I got to know other dental professionals in the community and built friendships that I still have today. And that was 20 years ago plus. So I think those relationships are what's been the common thread for me from the time that I worked in the dental practice to transitioning into speaking to this day. What I love the most is getting out and really just getting to know other colleagues. Like Laura, I mean, I've been so fortunate to be able to hike with you and to be able to share coffee and just really kind of get to know how it is that you're helping other dentists. And then when I do work with a dentist on their social media, oftentimes things will come up where they're like, well, we need some help with this, or this is overwhelming for us. And then I have a lot of resources that I can recommend for them. So I think it's really that relationship piece in dentistry that's been so special, and that I think I will continue to carry on throughout my lifetime, because those relationships are long lasting and so incredibly valuable.
That I love that you place such an importance on the relationship, because dealing with social media, a lot of times we hear that social media takes us away from relationships, right? Like you think about just being online versus relationships. But I love your North Star, so to speak, of relationships, and how that can really, social media can enhance those relationships, because I know that we would have never met had it not been social media, for instance. Just a random comment on a post that connected us, and here we are. But speaking of social media, we've heard from a little bird that your LinkedIn newsletter is a really good find. So tell us a little bit about how your LinkedIn newsletter is unique and how listeners could maybe find that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I enjoy the most that has also been a common thread throughout my dental career is writing. It's been about 16 years now that I have been blogging, which is kind of hard to believe. But, despite all of the popularity with video and podcasting and all the things, I do still really love to write. And so I saw an opportunity to, release this LinkedIn newsletter that's different than my blog and different than my email newsletter, where I can share insights about different conversations that I'm having with other dental professionals. The common thread is, of course, social media, but also talking about how all of these other common themes that a lot of dental professionals are struggling with today, whether it's overwhelm or burnout or the lack of time or whatever else it might be, kind of sharing some tips and insight there as well. So, and thank you to our colleague and Colorado resident, Dana Johnson with Navoni, because she really motivated me to get started with it. And so, yeah, I'd appreciate if anybody's interested in that. You can go to my LinkedIn and subscribe there.
Very cool. How long has that been going on? How long have you done the newsletter?
I just launched my first edition last week.
Oh, so. Awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, this is the way things go these days, whether it's a new Instagram account. I have a dental client, a dentist who just took over a practice, and they're just launching their brand new Facebook page. Of a client right now I'm working with, they're just launching a new Instagram account. People making over LinkedIn accounts or whatever it is that you're doing. A lot of times we're starting from scratch. It's from zero. So there's a little bit of vulnerability there to just say, I have 0 subscribers for this, and then kind of putting it out there and watching it grow. So
that's another feeling, though, that vulnerability, like you said, circling back to the beginning, just recognizing those feelings, and we can't have something new without a little vulnerability, right?
Yeah, exactly. Something new. And I think also giving birth to something that's already there. So I think the more that I'm releasing some of the, it may not even be outside external pressures, but my internal pressures, removing some of these psychic weights that I have on my mind, whether it's, you have to have all of these different pieces in order to be successful, a speaker, an author, whatever else it is, an amazing social media presence, all of the things, you can bring new life to something that you want to really continue to thrive in. And for me, that's taking care of my team and taking care of our clients in our social media services. That's really what I enjoy. And I think a big part of that is because I get to dig a little bit deeper in the relationships. I do enjoy that big connection of going and doing a presentation to audiences, but we don't get to really sit and dig in deep in that relationship. It's very topical. You're kind of coming in and you're going out, and the big part of who I am is just wanting to really go deep in those relationships. And I get to do that when I work with our dental clients, whether they're in a different state, and we have clients in Australia and Canada, if they're in different countries, I still get to continue to build on that relationship. And that's what is really rewarding for me. And so I think, putting new life on that. So you talk about like starting something new. I think sometimes we have to sort of resuscitate and add some new oxygen to those projects that we already have in our lives. Or, if it's a dentist working in the dental practice and they're wondering if this is right for them, sometimes if you can find a way to get relief and come back to those original passions, or find out what it is about that you really did love. It can really bring some exciting new life to that.
Mm-hmm. That's very wise.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. People who are listening to our conversation today and are thinking, yes, I need to talk to Rita. How are they going to get in contact with you? Where are they going to find you? What's the best way to get in contact?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the best way to reach me is through our website at Connect 90, and it's the word connect90.com. And from there, you can schedule online with me. So if you're listening to this at 10 p.m. or at 6 a.m. or whatever, you can go ahead and just pop on there, take a look at my calendar. I do believe in making things easy for you. And so for some of our programs, we have complimentary trials. We let you test out our program without any commitment. So we want to make it easy for you. So I would love to hear from you, even if you just have a comment about the conversation that we had today.
And your Connect 90 social media program, what I love about it, and this is a word that Karen and I are very dear to, but you say custom and bespoke. So talk to us a little bit about how you customize and make your programs bespoke for each client that you serve.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's just really important that, the dentists are representing their own individual fingerprint in everything that they do on social media, because that's really where the magic is. People, just like you said, Laura, you and I met through a comment, and that's when, you're going to be able to get someone's attention, whether it's through your videos or through your photos that you share. So whether you're a part of our Connect 90 program, we provide you with the tools, ideas, professionally written captions that you can use as they are, but we always recommend that you use your own photos and videos. And you can even use AI to change the caption any way that you like, or, just put your own finishing touch on that. And of course, then we have a fully custom service where for teams that say we're already overloaded, we're overwhelmed, and we just need someone to kind of do everything for us. The part that we can't do is, take your photos or videos. So we'll make that manageable for the team by sharing ideas on how to do that. And then we take over everything from there.
Super nice. I'm curious, in today's world, I've seen some, I don't know, some videos, some posts where I'm like, ooh, can you put that on social media? Do you guide your clients as far as, what professionally is okay to put on social media and maybe what is not?
We do. I mean, I think, it's interesting. Someone asked me earlier this week in an interview, what makes like the perfect social media presence? And I said, really, I don't think that there's a way to really describe that, because what's most appropriate for each of us is what's really most authentic for us. And so I think, for a dentist, if you are really funny and snarky, and it's a part of your personality to kind of have this sort of edginess, then that can be ideal for you. If there's another dentist who comes to us and says, we just don't feel like our social media is really, doing much for us. More and more, we're hearing dentists saying we're not necessarily looking for new patients, but we want to attract our ideal patient, or we want our social media to support our case acceptance. Then we really need to look at, what content are you sharing that's really helping to support those goals. If you want to be known for your clear aligners or for dental implants, then we want to make sure that we're including content about those topics and still include the culture and your personality and those things that are a part of your fingerprint, but we also want to have something that's going to be delivering value to you from a practice building standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Great answers. Gosh, it's just such a fun world. Like, if we think back before social media and how much it's changed since. And I think it's fun that somebody said, oh, social media won't be around.
Yes, there was a panel at that meeting. I remember it very clearly. And they asked the entire panel who thought, at the time it was only Facebook, that Facebook would be around in a year or two. And I was the only one that said that it would be. And I was one of the speakers at that meeting. So yeah, it was an interesting journey for sure.
Oh, well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your path and what has brought you here and the lessons you've learned along the way. I think our listeners probably identify and appreciate your vulnerability and your honesty. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today before we go?
Oh gosh, no, I mean, I just would like to share that if anybody wants to reach out with a comment or a question, I'm happy to talk with them more about that. And I would just encourage people to continue to listen and consider, getting some support with you, Laura, too. I've really appreciated the time that we have been able to share on our hikes. I feel like hiking and conversation just really go together really well. And just some of the wisdom and advice that you've shared with me during the time that I've spent with you has been really helpful. So
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I do love our hikes. They're great.
Yes, we have to do more
I know.
and more rucking too.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that the Mint Door was born on we weren't hiking, so to speak, but we were walking through town. So we were still moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, Karen, are you on board with the rucking yet?
I'm thinking about it. It's definitely on my list. At the moment, it is way too hot where I live right now to put anything extra on top of your body than just the thinnest piece of athletic clothing. So I think that is going to be when maybe mid-October, end of October thing for me. But yeah.
Okay, well, we'll put that on our list of things that would be delightful to do a rucking session with both of y'all. I'll put it on my list.
That sounds good. Awesome. Well, thank you, Rita, for sharing today with us and sharing your friendship and your light in the world. We appreciate you. And it's been an honor to know you. I know our listeners will enjoy this podcast and find some encouragement. So thanks so much for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet. All right, listeners, know that we adore you, and we will see you on the next episode of the Mint Door podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Well, hello, Mint Door listeners. We are doing something extra special today that we have never done on the Mint Door podcast. We're going to have a bonus episode. And with us today, of course, when you just heard the podcast, is Rita Zamora of Connect 90. Rita, thanks for coming on and giving us this little bonus insight into the magic that you do.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're going to jump right in, and she's going to just show us how her Connect 90 works, because we did the podcast and we talked about this, and then later on, her and I were together in a mastermind, and she had a chance to show how this works. And I was blown away with how comprehensive, how easy, and fun this is. So, Rita, can you just explain a little bit? Let's just say, I'm a dentist, struggling with social media, and I'm coming to you. Can you just give me the 2 cents of what magic Connect 90 does?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to. We're looking right now at really the heart and soul of our Connect 90 program, which is a content calendar and scheduling tool, and also support. The challenges that we hear from a lot of dentists are we don't have enough time, we don't have a system in place, we are not sure what to post. And they're also, just not really sure that the content that they are sharing is really even helpful. So what we do is, we've listened to the feedback of our dentists, and then also really worked very hard to make sure whatever we're recommending is really highly personalized, because I've always been a big believer in that every practice, has their own special fingerprint, and we want everyone's content to look different, showcasing your own photos and videos. So 100% of the time, we recommend that you use your own photos and videos with our program, because your patients really want to see you, whether they're your existing patients or potential patients. Mm-hmm. And so we have here a content calendar and a scheduling tool, and this is really an essential part of any successful social media program. You probably know this, Laura, from your own business as well. If we just we're posting spontaneously whenever we had a good thought, we would be crazy at the end of the day, thinking, what am I going to post tomorrow? And going into that rabbit hole of all these different platforms. So every week we provide curated and professionally written content suggestions in our program. And the content is content that you can personalize. You can click into the box and you can change the caption entirely if you wanted to. We really have worked hard to create a recipe of clinical topics, social topics, topics that invite your community to, give shout outs to your community and your team members. But we also have the opportunity where you can highlight your caption and use AI, choose a friendly tone, for example, and click a button and it'll rewrite the entire caption for you. So sometimes people are like, well, what if we really want to make sure it's absolutely uniquely our words? You can very easily do that and still keep that time-saving component of what should we be posting about. Mm-hmm. So we include those days like National Dental Hygiene Month. You may not think that Happy Bosses Day is a popular day for dentists, but it really is. The patients really like to see the dentist get a shout out for Bosses Day. Some of our teams actually shouted out their admin team for Bosses Day. So you can really kind of make it your own. And we really want to make sure that the content that we're suggesting is highly curated, and it is going to help to grow the practice at the end of the day. So we do like to showcase the doctor as an expert in whatever topic you want to be known for, whether it's dental implants or clear aligners. Those are usually the top two areas that most of our dentists today want to be known for. And so we tell them, if you want to be known for implants or clear aligners or smile makeovers, you have to consistently post content about that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of dentists and teams get lost. They have good intentions to post content about those topics, but then they forget or they try and come up with new ideas all the time. Mm-hmm. And then you're really missing the mark on promoting yourself as an expert in a niche. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we will prompt the team to upload their photo or their video. They can do that very easily with our platform. And once you create the topic and the caption that you want, this is for Facebook, for example, The platform is very user-friendly and easy to use, and you can then make a copy of your post for your Instagram, for your Google business profile, and even a LinkedIn company page, for example. You'll click on copy post, and the platform will make a copy of those posts for these different social media channels. And there's lots of other tips and tricks, especially with Instagram when it comes to geotagging and things like that. You can also pre-plan your stories, or plan out your reels, and we do provide support. So if you're like, I don't even know how to make a reel, we can help you with that. Everything from showing you what you need to record to how to put the reel together. But if we look at your calendar now, you'd see you've got your posts all lined up for the different channels. And once you click approve, those posts are going to publish to these different channels automatically. So that means your team doesn't have to go to all those different platforms. And Laura, I'm sure you've experienced this where you're like, let me just go in and post this thing on Instagram. And then 30 or 40 minutes later, you're like, oh my gosh, what was I doing in here? It's easy to get lost.
Yes, yes. I love how this is away from the platform, like you say. So you can go and plan things, get things done without going down those cute dog video rabbit holes.
Exactly, which we do like those, but there's a time and place for that.
Exactly.
And like I said, really, our goal is also to help to grow your practice. So we do keep track of what is resonating with patients and also what do patients want right now. So one of the important things for a lot of patients today is having an online booking option. So we're including topics that, are really most beneficial for you and your practice. So it's all those practice building topics, giving your team shout outs, giving a shout out to nonprofits in the community that you support. And we're not including those topics like, wear your flip flops to work day, because that doesn't apply and it's not, necessarily interest unless you're really passionate about that. But I don't think you can even wear sandals in your dental office. So and online reviews. We like to, prompt our teams to share online reviews. That's the number one reason that most patients are choosing their dentists today, is because of their reviews. So reminding you to highlight those. And then sometimes we'll just have some fun, whether it's giving a team member a shout out, or October was National Cookie Month. So we give our team suggestions on how can you really, just reward your team and do some team bonding, maybe bring some cookies in for your team early, ahead of the day, and enjoy the cookies, and you'd have some content there. So we really like to create that win-win where it's not just posting content, but we're also looking at what can we do to help make your team feel good and engage you with the community and help to build your practice as well.
I love that this is sort of like a roadmap, that you look ahead and you can see these things and you can plan ahead. Like, for instance, Bosses Day. You look at your calendar for October and you see that it's coming up. So you have a chance to plan. You have a chance to actually do a nice event, take a nice photo, so that when the day comes, you're not scrambling. And oh my gosh, we missed posting about Bosses Day, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that happens a lot. And it's a very stressful situation to find yourself in. And, we know that as business owners as well. I've been doing this. I worked in a practice for 15 years, so I know what it's like from working in the practice and then working with dental teams for the past 10 years in social media. We've learned a few things. What resonates with patients, what kind of systems you need to have in place to be successful. And then, we really love what we do and just enjoy also providing that support. Like I said, you're not on your own. So in addition to the tools and the platform, we're here to help you. Say if it's going to take more than 2 minutes, don't Google it, just contact us and we can help you out.
Oh, that's nice. So when I
Yeah.
see that you have the planned posts and stuff, is there then opportunity if you wanted to do your own on a different day, if there was something you wanted to highlight, is that you still can plan that and put that in that calendar?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad that you asked that. That's usually one of the most common questions that we get.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just hover over the calendar and create a new post. So if it's someone's birthday and you want to create a post for that, you can make sure you put in here, let's just say it's Kim's birthday, coming up. Some of our teams will look ahead to the entire year and put all their team members' birthdays in there, put their practice anniversary, any special marketing activities that they're going to have, and they'll put it all in their calendar so everything is coordinated. You can delegate, or I should say it's easy to delegate because you can really coach your team member on the quality of what you're sharing and approve it. Things can be set up awaiting approval. If the doctor wants to delegate and have a team member set it up, they can set it up that way. Yeah, so you can really take that
Oh my gosh,
time
you just
and
moved
make it
it.
your own.
That's so
Yeah, just
easy.
drag and drop. So if you're like, oh no, Kim's birthday is actually on the 22nd, you can just drag it and move it. So
This looks fun, and more importantly, it looks really easy to navigate.
thank you. Yes, we've used a lot of different platforms and systems over the years, and really just felt like this has just everything that you need. It's very user friendly, so the training is really a couple of minutes. If you can use an Apple product, you can use this product, and it's very easy. And there's also so many other tips and tricks. Like we give you a phone number so your team can text photos to land here in your content library. So, you'll be able to upload photos from right here in your library that were texted to your calendar. So it makes it very easy to use. And I just am happy to talk with anyone who's interested in it. We do offer a 30-day complimentary trial. We don't take a credit card. We make it really easy for you to be a guest and just try it out and see if it's a good fit. If it's not, I just love to hear feedback on what we can do to improve. And if it is, we make it easy for you with just month-to-month subscription thereafter.
Wow. I mean, you just said so many valuable things there, especially to dentists who are bombarded with putting new things into their practice. And the fact that you can try it out for 30 days and it's month to month. Typically, in most of your practices, does like one team member kind of take over this and be in charge of it? Is that what you see, or how does that usually work?
Yes, it's usually just one team member that will be responsible. We work with a lot of dental spouses. Sometimes it's the dental spouse that will be responsible. Sometimes it's the office manager. Occasionally, we'll have a dentist that really wants to be involved and enjoys it, or wants to understand the process before they delegate it. It could be someone else in the office. It might be a dental assistant or even a hygienist. Sometimes they'll have two team members. We have a specialty practice we work with that has multiple locations, and the team members can collaborate. So they'll each have their own login and can communicate and get everything set up here together.
Very nice. And then, if you're planning out a month, and you sit down to do this, about how much time would it take, do you think, an average person to plan out a month of content for their office?
We had originally estimated that it would take about 90 minutes a month, and hence the name Connect 90. However, we've surveyed numerous team members over the years, and on average, they're spending about 60 minutes a month. And that includes the time to like take the photos or video snippets, upload everything, personalize the content, and make it their own, and then get it scheduled, and make the content copies. So it takes about an hour, I would say hour and a half at the most for the whole month.
That's amazing. And then you have a consistent presence on on your platforms everywhere, and you're hitting all the topics, and you're having room for a little fun too.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. This is amazing. So simple, so fun, so easy. I love the fact that you can just copy the post to all the different platforms. What a time saver, and taking something that seems like just another job to do, to making it easy, fun, and effective. And I love the fact that you have data to back it up, that they can look back and see how these posts did for them,
Yes.
what they generated. And I think that's really important too, to know that, yeah, this is important to have your presence on the platforms, not just for patients, but maybe future team members or the community, just so that they know who you are and what you're all about.
Exactly. Yes.
Fantastic. Well, Rita, thank you so much for spending this little bonus time with us to show us this. This is absolutely, I think, life-changing. And
Oh,
really
thank you.
just very forward thinking. And I would love to just say kudos to you for bringing this into the world in such a professional, easy, and fun way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to share with your community and to get your insight as a dentist. It's, even more important for us to keep hearing feedback and hearing those questions. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And listeners, don't forget, all the links will be in the show notes below. So if this resonates with you and you want to reach out to Rita, all of the information will be there. So please do. And like she said, 30 days free, no credit card taken. I mean, when does that happen in today's world? That's beautiful. So awesome. Well, we adore you, Rita. Thanks for spending some time with us on the Mint Door podcast. And listeners, we'll see you on our next episode. Everyone, take care. Bye. Thanks for listening, and subscribe for more holistic performance content.